Hello and welcome to the Ice Guys. This is the show that takes you into the world of the National Hockey League. Every game, every day, from a betting perspective. With pro sports handicappers, Ian Cameron, Alex P. Smith, and various guests from the world of hockey and sports betting. And now, here's your host, Ian Cameron.
Welcome to the Ice Guys, Sunday, March 17th, the St. Paddy's Day edition of the Ice Guys. That's why we've got the green on. Happy St. Patrick's Day to everybody. Ian Cameron, Terry Edelman filling in for Alex P. Smith, and Connor Mack, who is our Sunday man, joining us here on the show once again. We're ready for a 7-game NHL slate here on this Sunday, including a TNT afternoon doubleheader this afternoon on TNT. So definitely looking forward to that. And this 7-game card. We'll look back first on yesterday. And as Alex, he jumped into the chat earlier before the show started, and he just recited all the vibes and feelings. And I'll just say the same thing. Thank you to everyone for reaching out to Alex. You know, this has obviously been a stressful 24 to 48 hours, unexpected, you know, with the situation that's happened with Mrs. Smith back home. But definitely we're going to keep thinking all the best for Alex's mom as he's back home tending to her in Chicago right now. Yesterday's slate, obviously a Saturday card that was loaded. It started early in the afternoon and started with a team that desperately needed a win and got it. The Detroit Red Wings, a 4-1 win against the Buffalo Sabres. Credit to them. You know, I said step up and show me you can snap the losing streak. They did just that. A 4-1 win. They were opportunistic. I thought it was a very solid defensive game. I think James Reimer gave Derek Lalonde something to think about. Maybe we got a run back James Reimer next time in net. Now, it probably won't be tonight because it's a back-to-back. I doubt they put him back in again. But I'm saying because of the way he played, they played one of their better defensive games. They haven't had many good defensive games lately, but they did have one of their better defensive games in front of James Reimer yesterday. So it was a solid effort all around. By the Detroit Red Wings getting that 4-1 victory over the Buffalo Sabres. A team that needed the win and didn't get the win was the New York Islanders, and this was a very, very hurtful loss for them. Losing at home to the Ottawa Senators, although they do get a point in overtime with the loss, still not what they wanted, but they end up losing 4-3, and it was just a very disappointing loss, and Patrick Waugh was not happy at all, saying we beat ourselves, the mistakes, the penalties, the turnover in overtime that led to the goal. So absolutely not a happy coach, and we'll see if that fuels the boys this afternoon when they play back-to-back on TNT in just a little under an hour. That game starts 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, Battle of New York, Rangers and Islanders on TNT. So we'll see if the Islanders have a bounce-back effort in them against obviously an excellent Rangers team. And a Rangers team that saved Igor Shesterkin, by the way, for this game this afternoon against the New York Islanders. So it'll be interesting to see how that game plays out. What else did we see yesterday? We saw that, speaking of the New York Rangers, we saw them against the Pittsburgh Penguins yesterday be able to get the victory that they got over the Pittsburgh Penguins. 4 was the final score there in that contest, but it was a pretty sloppy game. There were really a lot of defensive breakdowns really on both sides. The Rangers by getting a victory there 7-4 against the Pittsburgh Penguins, and again lots of goals scored in that game, and it'll be interesting to see how that carries over here. Oh shit. There we go. Too many windows open. I got to remember to close everything when the fucking...
Tell me about it. Are we good? Babano's frozen. You want to take it away here, Terry, on these morning games yesterday?
Yeah. Well, I had the Sabres money line. So that was one of the rough games, early on games, but for some reason, I'm not going to blame the time or day, but for some reason, the first games on Saturdays, I always struggle with. But yeah, we'll let Ian continue. Go ahead, Ian.
Yeah, just cut out there for a minute. Yeah, just crazy game. Rangers, Penguins, sloppy back and forth. Not really well played defensively by either team. Even the Rangers, they didn't play that great defensively. They gave up odd man rushes, but the Rangers survived. They get the win. Pittsburgh is atrocious defensively right now. They still are. Don't be fooled by the San Jose game that they won the other night. They were still awful with bad turnovers, bad breakdowns defensively. Yeah. They, to me, are an over team right now. And we'll get to them with Detroit later on. But I cashed the over in the Rangers. Really, I didn't start the day well, but that got the day going, at least in a positive direction. The Rangers and the over, both cashing in that game against the Penguins yesterday afternoon. And then at night, I want to get to the games today, so I'll just go rapid fire through these night games. 4-1 Arizona, typical Devils. What did I tell you? Wouldn't it just be so Devils to beat Dallas and lose to Arizona? And that's exactly what they did. Immaturity is what Travis Green said about his team after the loss, saying we're not mature enough to have a good game and follow it up with another good game. And if they thought it was tough yesterday against Arizona, now they got to play Vegas this afternoon on a back-to-back, which is the second game of the TNT doubleheader this afternoon. So tough spot for the Devils, and they're going to have to play a lot better against Vegas this afternoon if they hope to get a win. You can tell Tampa Bay still has the pride of a champion. 9-2 loss, 9-2 beatdown at the hands of the Florida Panthers last month, and Tampa Bay got their revenge. They were ready to go from the opening puck drop. They got up 4-0 in that game, and it got interesting at the end. Florida cut it to 4-3, but the Tampa Bay Lightning hang on for a 5-3 win against the Florida Panthers. Don't look now. That's 2 losses in a row now suddenly for the Panthers in the last couple of games. 5-2 for Calgary over Montreal. That game really disappointed me. I thought Montreal would put up a better effort than that. Of course, I also saw that, when you look at the Montreal Canadiens, Marty St. Louis not being there, taking a leave of absence for personal matters. I was wondering, would that affect the team a little bit? Maybe it did, but it was kind of disappointing to see that, obviously. And I think when you look at that game, maybe that impacted their play a little bit. Take nothing away from Calgary, though. Dustin Wolf played well in net. Montreal didn't cash in enough. So the team total losing the best bet was frustrating there. They fell 1 goal short of the team total. We did have the first period over, which fell short, but we did have the full game over in that game, which ended up getting there. So it wasn't all bad, but could have been better. Boston 6-5 against Philly. They still keep blowing leads, Boston, but they hung on to this one 6-5 over the Philadelphia Flyers. The good news about that game is even though Flyers draw fell short, the over hit. We thought 5.5 in that game was a little bit low. Philadelphia really struggling to keep the puck out of the net, especially the last few games. So they've been having a few games that have been trending over the total lately. Columbus 4-2 over San Jose. Not much to say there, but Columbus beats a team they probably should. The Toronto Maple Leafs. Look, this reminds me of Colorado-Vancouver earlier this week, guys. You remember that game? Vancouver gives up a 3-1 goal at the end of the second period, and I said that's the worst thing that could happen because you give a very good team life and energy and momentum, and Toronto did the same damn thing last night. They're up 3-1. They give up that 3-2 goal, and I knew right away. I actually jumped on Carolina in the draw live. The same thing Alex did the other night when Carolina made it 3-2. As I knew this is bad for Toronto. Carolina's got momentum. And sure enough, Toronto actually made it 4-2. But then Carolina with the 2 goals with the extra attacker, 4-4, and then they win it in a shootout 5-4. I would say brutal loss, choked by the Leafs, but they had a lot of good things in that game. They outplayed Carolina, and not just a little bit. They outplayed Carolina a lot in the first 2 periods, but none of that matters when you can't hold the lead, can't protect the lead. And Carolina comes back with a 5-4 win. And we do cash the draw, plus 360 with that Hurricanes-Leafs draw. That was a good bet there. Dallas wins on Mike Modano statue night. Very nice tribute ceremony for him. The statue of Mike Modano for the Dallas Stars. Probably the greatest Dallas Stars player of all time as of right now. And 4-1 Dallas gets the victory over LA. But that's 2 nights in a row where I lose an over 5.5 with LA where the third period goes dead silent. Happened again last night, just like the LA-Chicago game. Thank goodness I had a piece of the first period over at least. So we cashed that at least. And we did have Dallas team total over. So should have been a sweep, though. Should have been that over 5.5. But 4-1 Dallas, just the 1 goal from the Kings in the third period there in that one. 3-2 St. Louis wins in a shootout against Terry's Minnesota Wild. I know probably frustrating for Terry and any of the Wild fans. Good game by Fleury. I thought he played pretty well. In net. St. Louis probably deserved the win. The shots were 37-25 in favor of the Blues, and they get the shootout win. Nashville, continues to surge. 4-1 win against Seattle. I'm shocked that price was that cheap on them. So the Predators, I know a lot of us on the show yesterday like Nashville. They got it done. I think Seattle, stick a cork in them. They're done. They're just too far behind, and this has been a devastating week for their playoff hopes. Blowing the game against Vegas, losing to Washington at home, and now losing yesterday to Nashville pretty much sinks any chances of the Kraken in the postseason. Speaking of Washington, they beat Seattle the other night, and they beat Vancouver 2-1. Another one of those games where it's another one of those examples, I should say, where Vancouver is one of those teams that tries to turn the ignition and the motor and the key, turn the ignition on, turn the key, and the motor won't start. That's kind of what that looked like, especially in the last two periods for Vancouver. Stuck in mud, couldn't generate a lot offensively. They get the one goal early, thankfully, for the first period puck line to hit, but the rest of the way, Washington shuts them out, and they end up winning 2-1 there. And the game of the night for sure was Colorado-Edmonton. This was incredible hockey. This game could have been 7-6 Colorado if not for the goaltending. Goaltending was spectacular. Skinner and Georgiev were absolutely phenomenal in net. The action and the pace was just off the charts. You could tell just watching these two teams that these are two great teams. These are two legit contenders. Great hockey game. We cashed the draw, plus 380 with the draw for Colorado and Edmonton. The draws really helped me out as far as results and profit-wise yesterday. And we loved the draw in this game. We all did. We all thought it had a great chance to come through, and it did. And Colorado with the overtime winner in the dying seconds. What a fucking backhand feed from McKinnon to find Lehkonen in front of the net for that overtime winner. Can't do much better than that. What a tremendous hockey game. All right, I'm out of breath, and it's time for someone else to talk. Terry, what did you think of Saturday?
Yeah, I'll be quick. I kind of the same with you, Ian. The earlier part of the day wasn't so good. With the Sabres game, didn't go well. That Senators-Islanders game, I'm so glad I stayed off the Islanders. What's going on with the Senators? Are they going to pick up some wins here? And
they're talented enough to play spoiler and beat teams that need points right now. They are. They've dramatically underachieved. There's talent on that Ottawa team. They're going to be a sneaky underdog in spots down the stretch.
For sure. I'm going to skip the Rangers game and come back to that. The over in the Devils-Coyotes. Devils with 38 shots. Connor Ingram can be so annoying sometimes when he just decides he's going to have that game where he stands on his head. And of course, I'm usually on the over when that happens. Sharks, Blue Jackets. Thank you, Alex Nylander. I had him over 3.5 shots plus 225 against that empty netter, which is his fourth shot of the night. So that was a nice winner. Flames beat the Canadiens. I was on Carolina money line, so I absolutely love that comeback from down 3-0. That was beautiful. Avalanche, I was on the draw with you, Ian. I think we were all three of us were on the draw. I was also on Avalanche money line. My best bet, Predators money line, was a nice winner there. And then my 3 puck lines. Rangers -1.5 plus 185. They bounced back exactly as I thought they would. The Dallas Stars didn't bother me that Wedgwood was in net. Kings sucking back-to-backs. The Stars own the Kings, and they get the 4-1 win there. And that the Florida Panthers game, Florida outshot Tampa 50-16. 50-16. I am not upset that I bet the Panthers on the puck line. If that game happens 10 times, Florida's going to cover the puck line there in 8 of the 10 games. Bobrovsky had a horrible game. For what I hear, Montour was not very good defensively. So Tampa Bay won that game 5-3, but they got dominated, in my opinion. So that's a bad game for Bobrovsky. So I love those 2 big plus money cashes. The Wild game, you know what? The Wild didn't even deserve a point in that game. They did not show up for the first 40 minutes of that game. They did not even deserve a point. Kaprizov anytime goal was a great winner. The hottest goal scorer in the NHL strikes again.
Yeah.
That was a beautiful set play. They came off the bench and they were ready to do that exact thing. Zuccarello to Kaprizov, extremely tough to stop. So a nice winner there. And then I messaged Ian. McKinnon was so close. He had so many chances to cash the bargain bin. And I was really frustrated with Skinner. McKinnon should have had it. There's a few times he should have cashed the bargain bin. So no McKinnon goal. Ups and downs, but I'm glad my best bet cashed in the Predators. That was, I'm not going to say an easy win. It was tied there and 1-1 in the third for a bit, but it was always the Predators. So overall, a good day.
Yeah, and that's, I think, what you see right now with Seattle. Like, as soon as something bad happens, it really goes bad. And that's when the team is having a tough time. Like, that's what happened in the Vegas game with them. As soon as that Vegas team got the 4-3 goal, the confidence was wilting. And same thing, they got that game tied against Nashville, but then Nashville comes right back, takes the lead again. And it just totally just made everybody on the bench sag for Seattle right after they just tied the game, and now they got the lead again, and they weren't the same after that. Nashville kind of took over from that point. C-Mac, how was your Saturday in NHL? I know both of us, we got a lot of college basketball action. Of course, it is Selection Sunday with college basketball as well. It's been a hell of a 2-day. You know what? I've been a lot better the last couple of days in the college basketball, honestly, than I've been in the NHL from a betting standpoint. The college basketball has been outstanding, hitting underdogs left and right. Did anyone have Temple money line yesterday? I did. Oh, yeah. I had them plus the points. I had Oregon plus the points and money line.
Nice. I was off that game.
What all Dana Altman fucking does is make a run in March, go to win the Pac-12 tournament, get his team and probably into the NCAA tournament. And man, he did it again with 8 players on his fucking team and roster. He's got 8 players available. And somehow this man, give him a lifetime contract. He can coach at Oregon for as long as that man wants. That's what I would be doing if I'm the Oregon AD right now. What an incredible coaching job. But again, I know it's another sport, but I wanted to get that out there. C-Mac, what were your thoughts on yesterday?
Yeah, let's get to it. It was up and down, but still positive. We had some nice dogs. I was with you. I didn't have Buffalo. I had the Buffalo team total. I'm thinking, man, they're finally lighting the lamp. Red Wings are giving up goals. We get one early, nothing. Nothing the rest of the way. So that was a loser for me early. Yeah, I'm glad I stayed off the Islanders. I thought about taking their team total. Didn't. The Yotes, this Devils team just shouldn't be laying a number on the road. Get out of here. We'll get to them here in a minute. Don't bet the Devils on the road laying a price.
Yep.
I'll be over in San Jose, Columbus. I take it again. I'm time after time with those two teams. We didn't get there in the end. That was a loser. But the Blues, you talked about it. They all game long kind of controlled it. It did go to OT, Wild fought back, but I'm glad that won. Blues just disrespected at home all year long as dogs. And you mentioned the Preds. What happened? This team, my lone loss last Sunday, best bet loser, but that was the only loss. And then I just jumped right back on them. They're just keep winning. Or at least getting points going to OT. And you guys touched on the draw in Avs Oilers. That was great.
All right, good stuff. Let's get to Sunday. Here we go. We'll begin with the first of a TNT doubleheader this afternoon. New York Islanders, New York Rangers, Battle of New York renewed. Rangers minus 150 home favorites, 5.5 the total in this game. We've got ourselves a situation here where the Rangers are on a back-to-back, as are the Islanders. So, again, this is one of those spots where, again, this is a day where there's a lot of teams on a back-to-back. You're going to want to see, who's been good in these situations and who's been not. Factor that in at least a little bit. And the one thing I know about the Islanders on a back-to-back, see that? That's the number of wins they have on a back-to-back this year. None. 0. I think 0-7 now, if I'm not mistaken, on a back-to-back this season for the New York Islanders. That being said, I don't want to fade the New York Islanders after what Patrick Waugh said yesterday. He wasn't happy. It was kind of the first time he's really, publicly, criticized his team. It wasn't like a vicious, and he said, but he said, we're making mistakes and we're beating ourselves. They know they let a point get away in the loss against Ottawa. I'd expect a much better effort here from the Islanders today, and they need the points more than the Rangers do right now, quite honestly. The Rangers are, I would say, still pretty comfortably ahead of Carolina for first place in the Metropolitan Division. But I do think the Islanders will battle in this game. So I'm not on either side, but I am on the draw in this game. And I know Alex B. Smith is on the draw here as well. We're going to see a great goaltending matchup. The two Russians squaring off, Ilya Sorokin for the Islanders, Igor Shesterkin for the New York Rangers, doing battle in this game. This is a weird total for me. Series history says you got to bet over 5.5 here, because if you look, 3 straight meetings with the two New York teams, all of them overs really this year. They've played 4 times. The last 3 meetings have all gone over the total, including both of the games here at MSG at Madison Square Garden. Rangers a 5-3 win in December, and the Islanders the Rangers a 6-5 overtime win in Long Island back on February 18th. So 3 straight meetings have gone over, but I'm kind of conflicted. I definitely will play the over small based on that, but I am concerned that Waz talking about, hey, we're screwing up with the puck, making mistakes. You got to think they want to tighten up defensively. You've got 2 goalies that are very capable of shutting things down. And you've got Igor Shesterkin off a very rare. He hasn't had many rough games lately, but he had one against Tampa Bay in his last start earlier this week. So I'm a little bit worried that here's Igor Shesterkin playing lights out, keeps the Islanders 2 goals or less, game stays under. So I'm sprinkling on the over, but I've got a lot of trepidation with that bet, and I'm on the draw here as well. Terry, what do you think here? Battle of New York.
Well, we're going to have some disagreement right away. I don't like the draw. I like the Rangers to win this by margin, just like they did yesterday. I'm on the Rangers puck line plus 155. As you said, the Islanders 0-7 on the second night of a back-to-back. All 4 of the regulation losses were by multiple goals. They have just not competed at all on the second night of back-to-backs. The Rangers 10-1 on their second night of backs this year. A lot of those games they covered the puck line. Igor off that bad game. Yes, Patrick Roy, he did change up the lines, put Barzal on the second line. I don't really love that. Put Palmieri up in the first line. I really don't like that. Barzal's been one of the few consistent players for the Islanders pretty much all season long, so I don't like that move. And this Rangers team, 4-1 in their last 5. Yeah, they had that bad game against Tampa Bay, but the Rangers the better team. I like them here. They play so well on back-to-backs. So they give me the Rangers on the puck line, plus 155. And I'm also on Panarin and Trocheck, both to get points. Yep. Same game parlay for minus 105. Those 2 just continue to be money. So that's what I'm looking at in this game.
Yeah, there's no question. I mean, if you're going to start and end with Rangers player props, Trocheck and Panarin have to be at the top of the list here for them. No question. They've been absolutely terrific. They've been dialed in. Panarin had an incredible day yesterday against Pittsburgh. I mean, he had a puck on a string the entire hockey game. It was just fun to watch. The lines look like they're staying the same. Jack Roslovic's only scored the 1 goal, but I still think the value's there as long as he keeps on playing top line with Zibanejad and Kreider. So I would still go to the well with that as far as player prop is concerned. But I'm agreeing with Terry. The top 2, as far as the 2 most red-hot Rangers right now, are Panarin and Trocheck. And like I said, for the Islanders, don't look past Palmieri, Horvat, Nelson. I mean, who's really doing the scoring for them right now? It's those 3 guys. So if you're going to bet anyone for the Islanders, that's who you'd look at right now. C-Mac, what do you think here, Islanders, Rangers?
Yeah, that's all that is doing the scoring for the Islanders. And even till yesterday, they got blanked a couple games. You guys said it. You guys squawked it off, spoke it, especially you, Terry. 0-7 Islanders. Rangers with 10-1 on the back-to-back. So Rangers, I have a piece of them, full game puck line. But I jumped on, I'm taking a stab. I think Igor bounces back after the bad game. Give me the Rangers, first period, puck line here, plus 162. I thought it was 155. I'll take it more. You want to give me more? Plus 162. I'll take a piece of that as well.
All right, so Rangers first period puck line and full game puck line here for Connor Mack with the New York Rangers here in this game. And yeah, like I said, this is a great game. This is a great way to start the Sunday, no doubt. It's Rangers are trying to maintain first in the division, so they want to win the game. The Islanders need the points desperately right now. It'll be interesting to see what response they have. Better team than they played yesterday, back to back, where they've stunk all year. And yeah, if you're betting this game based solely on the back-to-back results this year, you're clearly on the Rangers. I mean, you have to be if that's your number one handicapping factor. in this game, because the Islanders are 0-7 on a back-to-back. Rangers are 10-1. That's about as wide of a gap in second night of back-to-back game performances you'll see right there. That one team's 0-7 and the other's 10-1. So interesting to see if those two trends continue here this afternoon. The next game is the second game of the Sunday afternoon TNT doubleheader. New Jersey Devils, Vegas Golden Knights. We've got Vegas minus 185, home favorites, 6.5 the total here in this game. I think when you look at it here, I can't make a case for either side. Like, Vegas really, really angered me the other night against Calgary, to the point where I don't want to lay $1.85 with them. I don't want New Jersey on a back-to-back after laying a stinko against Arizona yesterday. That being said, New Jersey did beat Dallas before, and there is an element that this team is capable at times of punching up in weight class and playing better against the good teams for some reason, and sometimes just looking awful against teams they probably should beat. However, the Dallas win on Thursday, was Thursday night, was still only the first time they've beaten a pretty good team since the coaching change, since Lindy Ruff got fired and Travis Green took over. They did have losses to Florida, Carolina, and the Rangers, since the coaching change, all very good teams. So, yeah, they're capable of beating a good team, but to me, I don't want New Jersey. I'd prefer Vegas, but they've let me down enough where I'm a little bit shy of pulling the trigger right now with them. But they are off a 4-1 loss at Calgary. They should want to bounce back here on home ice. The one thing we've noted here with this Vegas team, look at their totals lately. 8-2 to the over for this Vegas Golden Knights team in their last 10 games. Logan Thompson will be in net here for them this afternoon. I don't know if that's necessarily a bad thing, because Aiden Hill's kind of had some struggles lately, up and down. Thompson, well, we haven't seen Thompson since the Buffalo game, March the 2nd, 7-2. He was in goal that night and gave up 7 goals to the Buffalo Sabres that night. So hasn't started since then. We'll see how he fares here in this game. They obviously gave Kaapo Kahkonen the start yesterday, and it ended predictably. He didn't play well. He gave up goals, and the team lost. But it's back to Jake Allen. I don't have a ton of confidence in him, but he did play well against Dallas after a rough start. The second and the third period, he played well. It's likely Jake Allen in net here for New Jersey on a back-to-back. Keep in mind, they are banged up to shit on the blue line right now. They've obviously, Dougie Hamilton's been out for a while, but John Marino's day-to-day. Jonas Siegenthaler's a big-time loss, concussion, and they don't know when he's going to be back for this Devils team. That was the Rempe incident against the Rangers that knocked him out of commission. And you can see that since he's been out, this team's not been, they haven't been good defensively all year, but at least with Siegenthaler, he is one of their more able defenders. New Jersey, going back to the beginning of the month, this Devils team has given up at least 3 goals to the opponent in 6 of their 8 games. So not exactly doing a nice job keeping the puck out of the net. This is going to be over bifecta for me, over 1.5 first period, over 6.5 full game. And I lean Vegas. If I were to bet Vegas, and maybe I jump in on this for something small, it would be the 3.5 team total, over 3.5 at around minus 120. It's a reasonable price. I think I could talk myself into the Vegas team total. That would be the only bet I would make on the Vegas side. So I might jump in on a Vegas team total over. Primarily, though, I'm on bifecta, over 1.5 first period, over 6.5 full game. Terry, what do you think here? Devils, Golden Knights.
Yeah, this game is so tough. Both of these teams are. This is if I was going to bet a side here, I would have to bet it live, because I want to see who is showing up in this game, because both of these teams can have really great games and then have a stinker the next one. So Devils coming off yesterday, I could see them coming in here and upsetting Vegas. Vegas upset after the Calgary win. I could see Vegas bouncing back. I want to take the over. I really do lean with the over, but my issue is that this Devils team, I've been taking the over with them, and then they score 1 goal. So they've only gone over 6.5 in 1 of their last 5 games. Looking at past history, the Devils play very well against Vegas recently. 3-0-1 in the last 4 meetings. 3 straight meetings have gone to overtime. So the draw could be a potential look here. But this game is basically a pass for me. If I was going to get to anything, it would be Nico Hischier, Jack Hughes. both to get a point, same game parlay. Or you could look at Eichel 3 shots and Heischer 3 shots. They both hit 3 shots pretty much every game. So that's what I'd look at here for this one. But this one's a tough one for me.
Yeah, like I said, I definitely think, and I'm looking at the back-to-back numbers. Vegas, New Jersey 2, and let me just get the numbers, 2-10 on the second night of back-to-backs this year for New Jersey. Vegas, well, Vegas isn't on a back-to-back, but so never mind. But Devils are 2-10 on a back-to-back this year. Not good. Not good at all. Yeah, like I said, minus 185, no thanks. You either got to take them in reg, maybe take a shot with a puck line. But for me, if I'm taking Vegas, it's team total. Because my guess is if they win this game, they're probably going to get 4 goals past the New Jersey Devils here at home in this game. And like we always say with the team totals, why lay minus 185 with a home favorite? Why do it when you can take that same team over 3.5 with their team total and lay minus 115 to minus 120 instead? It's just such, because let's be honest, if Vegas wins the game, there's a damn good chance they score 4 goals. I don't know if this is going to be one of those games they win 2-0, 2-1, 3-1. I think they have a chance maybe to light it up here against a New Jersey team. But look, it was nice, great story. They rallied around, Jake Allen, first start with New Jersey against Dallas. Let's not forget his numbers before that start were not very good this year. Let's see him do it again this afternoon. What do you think here, Connor Mack, New Jersey, Vegas?
Yeah, Vegas, man, it's just playing to the over. In that game, if they could have scored against the Flames, that would have gone over as well, you mentioned. Yeah, in the end, I don't know if I could get to the over because that just screams out. Terry, you just hit on it. Devils aren't scoring any goals. Getting one is not going to get it. So when I looked at this, I'd look to the Vegas team total. I do think they can play well here. But laying this number, I want nothing to do with it. They just have problems right now. Until they start really feeling it get better, I don't want Vegas at all. You talked about how I hate the Devils. Now they're a dog, but still, I can't take them here on the back-to-back. Been awful. But I will have a piece of this draw here. So I'm going to play the Vegas team total, I'm thinking, because I'm going to stay off the full game over. But I have to have a piece of this. The last couple have gone to OT. Just seems like a game that could be 3-3 here. So I think the draw is right around plus 150 or 350. So I'm on it.
What makes this game very, very interesting is that you've got each team's most current and most recent weakness going head-to-head right now in this game. The Devils' weakness lately is offensively. They're having a hard time scoring goals consistently. Vegas' weakness lately has been, believe it or not, defensively, and it's hard to believe we're saying that, but they have not kept the puck out of their net. And this goes back weeks now with Vegas. That's why they've been 8-2 the over in their last 10 games. It's hard to believe. Everybody's healthy. It's not like they're dealing with a shit ton of injuries on the back end. They just got Noah Hannafin as well from Calgary. They got Hannafin, Pietrangelo, McNabb, Theodore, Hagen, Whitecloud. I know, okay, Alec Martinez is the one guy that's out, and he does block a lot of shots. But you've got the depth on the blue line to withstand not having Alec Martinez. You should be able to keep the puck out better than this if you're Vegas. But they haven't been. But New Jersey hasn't been scoring a bunch lately. So that's why this is a tricky handicap. And it always is when you've got a game where one team's weakness matches up with another team's weakness. And that's what we have here with Jersey offense versus Vegas defense right now. Both teams are struggling in those two regards. Devils offensively, Golden Knights defensively. So who the hell is going to win that matchup? That's what we'll find out here this afternoon. But I'm still taking a shot, like I said, with the over by Fecta. And going to look toward over maybe the Vegas team total as well, over 3.5. And then for props in this game, you look at the way the lineup sets up for the Golden Knights. Mantha might be worth a look here. Dorofeev, Carlson, and Amadio, I think, are still the main looks here for Vegas from a value standpoint. Throw in Amadio, who did score their only goal, by the way, against Calgary the other night. So those would be the looks for Vegas. For New Jersey, I don't know. I mean, they're having a tough time. I certainly don't want, Jack Hughes is even feeling it right now, but it looks like Dawson Mercer might be on the top line for the Devils this afternoon. Looks like Travis Green moving him up there. So definitely would be value on Mr. Mercer, the Newfoundlander, here in this game if he does play on the top line for the New Jersey Devils. All right, next up, the rest of the games are night games tonight, starting in the Windy City. San Jose Sharks, Chicago Blackhawks, Chicago minus 160. 160. Home favorites, 6 the total in this matchup. Looks like we're going to have an NHL debut tonight for the San Jose Sharks. Devin Cooley, who is someone that started the season in the Buffalo Sabres organization, played primarily at Rochester with the Americans in the AHL. And down there, here are his numbers at the AHL level before the trade. 3.77 goals against average, 891 save percentage. At the AHL level, AHL, those were his numbers, Devin Cooley. And here he is about to make his NHL debut tonight for the San Jose Sharks. This is definitely over trifecta for me. And sometimes these are dangerous games because sometimes they rally around the goaltender and they play their ass off and they try to win one for him and they try to play some kind of staunch, tough, tight defensive game. But I just don't see it happening with these two teams. I mean, Chicago just got lit up by LA the other night. Now, I know that was Soderblom, and they're going to probably go back to Peter Mrazek, you would think, here tonight. He's clearly been the better goalie. So maybe this isn't the slam dunk. It could be here, the over trifecta, but that's certainly the only way I would be betting this game. I don't trust a goalie with those kind of numbers at the AHL level here in his first NHL start, but they're stuck right now, San Jose. They're absolutely stuck. They traded away Kakkonen because he's awful. Blackwood's on the IR. They got Vanacek in that trade from New Jersey, but he's on IR. He's nowhere close to being ready to play. So they're stuck with Magnus Krona, who, is getting crushed here back-to-back nights by Pittsburgh and Columbus, the last 2 San Jose games, and they got no choice. This is like bottom line, Devin Cooley. If you look at their goaltending depth chart, this is probably like the 4th or 5th goaltender in the organization right now on the depth chart. That's where this guy sits right now. And keep in mind, this is like the 4th goaltender on the depth chart for a very bad hockey team. It's not like this is the 4th goaltender on the depth chart for the Lightning or for the Panthers or for a very strong organization. This is a 4th goaltender on the depth chart for the worst team, one of the worst teams in the NHL right now, the San Jose Sharks. So, and Chicago should feel pretty ashamed of the way things went against LA the other night. And before that game, they had been pretty good at home, but $160. I mean, I could make a good case for Chicago here, but minus 160, no, thank you. I would go Chicago team total over before I take minus 160. I might get in on that, but primarily I'm going to look at the over trifecta here. First period over, first period both teams to score, and over 6. What do you think here, Terry? San Jose, Chicago.
Yes. I took my shot with Chicago plus 1.5 against the Kings. The one time I bet Chicago all year long, and that'll be the final time I bet Chicago all year long. I'm definitely not laying mine.
I don't think I can even get there with the team total with Chicago. I think just give me goals both ways and stay away from a side, because every time I jump on San Jose, they lose. I remember Pittsburgh the other night. I took a rare shot with the Sharks. They lose. I'm done with San Jose, but I can't endorse Chicago at this price. I can't, even with Cooley in net.
Yeah, Alex has definitely mentioned Chicago on Sundays at home at this time of day. So that's kind of in my head as well. Looking at this game, looking at player props, Mikael Granlund, Fabian Zetterlund are both playing well, but minus 140 to get a point. There's no value with either of them. Bedard and Kurashev on the top line. Both doing okay, no value with them. However, Tyler Johnson has a point in 4 of his last 5 games on the top line with both of those guys, plus 110 to get a point. So that's the only play I'm going to have in this game is Tyler Johnson to get a point, plus 110. I think he can get on the score sheet, and that's all I'm really going to be paying attention to this game. There's just no value anywhere else for me except Tyler Johnson point.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I say, from a side perspective, to me, this was a pretty easy decision to go totals over trifecta, although that doesn't mean it's going to be an easy winner by any stretch of the imagination, because the one thing that does concern me is when Magnus Krona made his first NHL start. It actually wasn't his first NHL start, but it was his first NHL start in a while for San Jose against Dallas. He did play one of his best games, and they gave Dallas a ton of fits in that game. But his numbers are just, you look at his AHL numbers, Devin Cooley, and you think to yourself, how the hell is this guy going to have any sort of success in the NHL level with numbers like that down in the American Hockey League? But we'll see how it goes tonight. C-Mac, what do you think here? San Jose, Chicago.
Yeah, I want to back the Sharks here. There's no fucking way the Blackhawks should be laying this number. No way, no how. I don't care against anybody. But you look how bad Cooley's been, and it's just like, can they rally the one start and he, plays well? That could happen. So I would lean. I'd be on the Sharks. I just can't bet it here. He's been horrible. And yeah, this Cooley guy, it's all the big story. I saw he's on the junior Sharks, one of the only players, to ever do that and now play on the big team. But I don't know if he get it done. The numbers are just awful. The Blackhawks here. Someone mentioned Seth Jones in the chat. Yeah, he's been, you're not getting the great juice on that, the shots on goal, but he's consistently got it. I think Bedard can get this. If you can get around 160 on the goal and 3.5 shots on goal, if you get right around plus 105 or plus 110, if you could find that out there, I think you could show off here a bit today.
Yeah, I mean, look, all the offense lately from Chicago, whatever offense they've generated, it stemmed from number 98, Connor Bedard. So,
and after getting shut out, it just seems perfect against a goalie like this. Yeah, the feast.
No doubt. And I think there's a chance that it could be, and Chicago, and look, LA was off the St. Louis loss, and they needed the points, and they played a good game. And look, Soderblom shit the bed too. Let's not forget, if they get a save from their goaltender and he holds the fort early in that game instead of getting lit up in the first period, maybe it's a different outcome for Chicago in that game, and they're able to hang in it. But when your goalie's that rough in the first period, it just sinks your confidence right away. And Chicago couldn't get it back. All right, next up, Winnipeg, Columbus. Winnipeg, minus 250 road favorites, 6 the total in this game. Be aware of this. This is not the shoe-in that you would think on Winnipeg. Columbus has consistently stepped up in class at home. They've got wins against Edmonton and Vegas over the last 2 weeks on home ice. This has recently been a spot for the Blue Jackets where they have played teams tough, and they've played some of their best hockey in these situations. Question is going to be, can they do that here tonight against the Winnipeg Jets? Connor Hellebuck in net for the Jets here. Merzlikins for Columbus. Let's be honest, Hellebuck's hit a bit of a rough patch here. A couple of starts now, not exactly at his absolute best. In fact, Laurent Brossoit has outplayed him. Laurent Brossoit gets back-to-back shutouts for Winnipeg against Washington and Anaheim. And here's Hellebuck, who's given up 9 goals in his last 2 starts in losses to Nashville and Vancouver in his last 2 outings. So he's going to try to get bounce back here in this spot against the Columbus Blue Jackets. This is one where I might sprinkle on the draw, but that's about it. I like look Columbus. I respect the way they've gone here at home. They had the shootout loss to Ottawa, which would have cashed the draw. 2-1 loss to Nashville at home. They were right in that game, and like I said, before that, they beat Edmonton and they beat Vegas on home ice. They've been competitive here on home ice. Of course, they beat San Jose 4-2. Not saying a lot last night, but we'll have to wait and see how this goes. I'm just saying this is not a spot I'm rushing to take Winnipeg. Winnipeg wins, it wouldn't shock me. They're the better of these 2 teams, and Hellebuck's due for a bounce back and a great performance, but not with what I've seen from Columbus at home against better teams where they've really played teams tough. So I might sprinkle on the draw, but that's about it. Nothing on the side, nothing on the total besides maybe a little draw bet here for me in this game. Terry, what do you think here? Jets, Blue Jackets.
All kind of shocked to say about one of my favorite games of the night, actually. This one here.
Oh, okay.
So Winnipeg, their last 5 games, 3 games have gone under 6, 2 games finished with 6 goals. Same with Columbus, 3 unders, 2 games finished with 6 goals. 4 of the last 5 games between these teams have gone under 5.5. So they just play these low scoring, close games. Columbus 4-1-1 in the last 6 meetings between the teams. This has a 3-2 game written all over it. I'm on the under 6 in this one, but I also have 2 player props. Alex Nylander over 2.5 shots on goal. I went with the 4 shots yesterday. Here against Winnipeg, I'm just going to take the over 2.5, minus 115. I'm fine with that for Nylander to get 3 shots. And then Josh Morrissey over half an assist, minus 120, not the best price. But I like him to get an assist here. But I like the low scoring game. My feeling is that this is going to be a 3-2. So I don't know if you want to sprinkle on the correct score, but I think this game finishes 3-2. Wouldn't it shock me if Columbus pulls off the upset? But I'll stick with the under and the 2 props here in this one.
All right. Yeah, I think this could be an under. I agree. I've no issue looking under the total. I think it's got that chance to be. And look, Columbus hasn't been an auto over bet lately with what we've seen out of them. In fact, they're on a 5-game under streak. The Columbus Blue Jackets coming into this game, 5-0 to the under. Winnipeg, they're trying to get Hellebuck back in good form again. We've actually seen 3 straight unders and 4 of the last 5 meetings go under with the Blue Jackets versus the Jets. What do you think here, C-Mac, Winnipeg, Columbus?
Yeah, let's hit the total. I am going to have a piece of this under. I like it. Nothing's been as good to me as Jets unders, which I'm sure it has to a lot of people this year. And I love all the numbers that I saw. One thing, the Jets, too, maybe this is a bounce back, but I don't buy it. A lot of win one, lose one lately the last couple of weeks. That is their back-to-back. They just beat the Sharks. But I need to be on the Jackets more, and I've been at home, and they beat some good teams, and I think they can get it done here. The best number, I think, is 215 that I can find out there. I'm going to be on the Blue Jackets.
All right, there you go. Connor, big dog hunting right there with the Columbus Blue Jackets. And he'll bet the dogs, Connor Mack. He will. He does it across all sports, and I don't think it's the worst shot in the world at all. Especially because we've seen Connor Hellebuck look human. Now, he's always capable of basically turning back into the best version of Connor Hellebuck that he's fully capable of. But, we are still talking about a guy that's given up 9 goals in his last 2 starts combined, 0-2 in those games. So I think from that standpoint, it gives this, Columbus Blue Jackets team, a puncher's chance here this afternoon. Tonight against the Winnipeg Jets in this game. We'll see how it goes. And head-to-head, by the way, Columbus beat Winnipeg 3-1. The last time Winnipeg took a trip here to Nationwide Arena, it was 3-1 Columbus last February. Columbus was a plus 160 underdog in that game. So, like I say, it is a bit of a rest advantage for Winnipeg because it's back-to-back for Columbus. They played last night, but no travel with this back-to-back. It's back-to-back home games for the Blue Jackets. Yeah, Nylander's worth a look. I agree with that. And then for the Winnipeg Jets for props here, take a shot again with Iafallo. He didn't score the last game, but still up with Scheifele and Connor. I think Toffoli, someone to keep an eye on too for the Winnipeg Jets, capable of heating up. Got his first 2 goals with the Jets against Anaheim Friday night. So Toffoli on the Jets side and Nylander on the Columbus side would probably be my favorite player prop looks in this game. All right, next up, we have the Carolina Hurricanes and the Ottawa Senators. Carolina minus 210 road favorites. The total in this one, 6.5, shaded to the under in this game. Another situation where you have back-to-back games for both of these teams. Ottawa, though, had the early game yesterday, remember. They played the Islanders early in the day, early in the afternoon, and Ottawa had to play later in the day at night against Toronto. And it was an exhausting game as well for this Hurricanes team. They had to battle back from a 4-2 deficit, and they ended up finding a way to win that game 5-4 in a shootout. Great comeback. So how much gas will be in the tank for Carolina? Ottawa, meanwhile, like I said, the travel was a bit longer for them from Long Island, but they did play the early game. If you look at this schedule, though, for lately for Ottawa, going back to February 26th, this team has had to travel after every game they've played. They had the 2 games on the road against Washington and Nashville. They come home for 1 game March 1st against Arizona. They go back on the road for 4 games in a row, Philly, Anaheim, LA, San Jose. They come back home against Pittsburgh March 12th for 1 game, and then March 14, 16 in Columbus and in the Long Island, and now back home on a back-to-back here. That's a lot of air miles piling up on you if you're the Ottawa Senators. I like the draw here. That's it. The draw is the clear spot for me. I think we've got a potential for overtime. Ottawa's gone past regulation now in 3 straight games, in 4 of the last 5 games. And look, to their credit, they've won 3 in a row, and they are giving teams that need points and better teams a battle right now. Look at the LA game. They lost in overtime. Look at the Islanders game yesterday, which they won in overtime. So suddenly the only loss during this last 5-game stretch for the only losses in the last 5-game stretch for Ottawa were 1-goal losses, including the overtime loss to LA. And then every game, the last 3 went to overtime. So I like the draw here. Carolina can win this game, but Carolina often does not make it easy, even sometimes against some of the weaker teams. The draw is the clear choice for me in this game with the Canes and the Senators. The one thing, too, about Ottawa, you look back at the way Ottawa's played Carolina here in Ottawa. Ottawa's actually beaten Carolina here in Ottawa 3 of the last 5 meetings between them. So keep an eye on that. So, again, they've been playing stingy lately, like I said, and I like the draw here in this one with Carolina. Now, it's worth a shot. With Ottawa's strong recent draw track record, Carolina was in an overtime game last night. I think we got a chance maybe to see past regulation here in this. That's about it for me. I have nothing on the total here and nothing on the side. I think Carolina wins in overtime or a shootout, just like they did last night if I had to prognosticate. Yeah, Freddie Anderson tonight, as you would expect, on a back-to-back because they went with Kochetkov last night. Should be Anton Forsberg here for the Ottawa Senators. Yes, that is confirmed. Terry, what do you think here? Carolina, Ottawa.
Yeah, probably my least favorite game of the night. I don't have a play in this one. Carolina 4-1 in the last 5 meetings between the teams. 4 of the last 5 have gone under 5.5. Ottawa's got a heavy under team right now. The Senators team is, like you said, Ian, they're winning games. Carolina off that big win yesterday and overtime. Yep. This just feels like a letdown spot for the Canes.
And the Florida game before that. So think about that. Florida, huge game. They hate Florida's guts for division rival, knocked them out in the East Final, and then they rally from the death to beat Toronto last night. And now you're on a back-to-back tonight against Ottawa with probably the goalie I trust least, trust less, I should say, in Freddie Anderson. So that's why it's not a Carolina spot to me, but I don't want to take Ottawa either because they're off their own big win. And Forsberg's been spotty in net. So that, to me, that's why I veered toward the draw in this game. Crazy as it is to say, this could be an over too with these goalies, but I don't love it.
Yeah. This game is just tough. But player props players that are doing well. People in the chat are mentioning him. Marty Natchez, shooting the puck a lot. At least 3 shots on goal in 11 of 12 games. So I'm assuming that over 2.5 shots on goal is not really single play, but you could parlay that with something. Brady Tkachuk has at least 5 shots on goal in 4 of his last 5. So Brady Tkachuk is going crazy lately. Tim Stützle, 0.5 games in a row. Batherson you could look at. Gensel, my gut is telling me that we see a good game from Gensel again after last night. So some players to maybe look at, but this game is just to stay off for me.
All right, it's a pass for Terry on this one. What do you think here, C-Mac? Kakalaki, Ottawa.
Yeah, this is a stay away. Like you mentioned, the travel spot with Ottawa. But I agree with you. I think you got to put a little something on the draw. I mean, Ottawa, 4 of the last 5. And this seems like a perfect because the travel spot. And the Canes off the big win, last night. That was huge for them. Just playing red hot, playing well. When I thought this team wasn't very good on the road, they've been telling me otherwise as of late. Playing great hockey. So I think there's something worth the draw here. It just seems if I went with Ottawa, they'd screw me here. But I think the game could be tight. So I think it's worth a sprinkle on that draw.
All right,
Tkachuk, you mentioned. He's shooting 5-6 shots on goal. Wouldn't mind the prop.
Yeah, I mean, yesterday he was great, and you like to see that. He's the captain. He should show up any night. I don't care where you are in the standings, but he did that yesterday. That was a very good effort from Brady Tkachuk in the victory against the Islanders. All right, Detroit Red Wings, who finally snapped their long losing streak with a big win. They needed that desperately. That felt like a piano get off the back type of win for the Detroit Red Wings yesterday. And now they take on the Pittsburgh Penguins, back-to-back situation for both teams. Pittsburgh minus 140, home favorites, 6.5 the total in this game. As we talked about with Detroit, that was a huge victory for them. They needed it. They needed to stop the bleeding. 7 straight losses, and they beat a Buffalo team 4-1 that pounded them in the B-low early in the week, 7-3. So that was much needed for the Red Wings here to get some confidence back and some wind in their sails again. Now the question is going to be, can they build on that here this afternoon or tonight rather against the Pittsburgh Penguins? They've actually beaten Pittsburgh 3 of the last 4 meetings head to head. We'll see if they can build on it here this afternoon. This is normally the kind of betting situation I like to endorse here, though. You've got a team that's been struggling mightily, big time. They finally get a win. I'm still not totally confident in this team, minus Dylan Larkin, although the fact they finally put a W on the board without their captain yesterday is definitely a step in the right direction. And I'm definitely not confident in tonight's likely starter, Alex Lyon, in net for the Detroit Red Wings, because he has been absolutely he's been struggling. We've talked about why for a long time. He's been struggling because he's been playing a lot. He's by far played the most games in his NHL career in a single season, and he has clearly hit a wall physically. And he's overplaying pucks. He's losing his angle. He's not square to the shooter. His rebound control has declined significantly. This guy is spitting out, rebounds back into the slot area over and over again. And I think right now, when you look at his play, it's concerning. And it's probably him in net by default. I think if you're Derek Lalonde, you're kind of tempted to go back to Reimer because he was very rock solid yesterday, and he finally got a win with Jimmy Reimer in net. But I think because it's a back-to-back, it's going to be Lyon. He's projected but not confirmed. It's going to be I don't know who it's going to be. It's probably going to be Nedeljkovic initially in net tonight. He had to come into the game yesterday because Mike Sullivan pulled Tristan Jarry in the third period against the Rangers. So Nedeljkovic finished that game. This was supposed to be Nedeljkovic's game against his former team, Detroit, all along. And I still think you're going to see Nedeljkovic in net. This is definitely over trifecta for me. It is. I mean, Pittsburgh to me looks like a dead nuts over team. I like what I'm seeing from them offensively the last few games. Like even against the Rangers, they were generating a great amount of high danger chances against the Rangers. Jonathan Quick had to be pretty good. The Bunting and Crosby and Rust, they all had good games. You're seeing some of the depth forwards like Pustin didn't step up. I mean, there's definitely signs of life from the Penguins offensively, but man, they're an absolute disaster and shit show defensively, and they continue to be. So to me, until further notice, Pittsburgh, you want to be betting overs or you don't want to be betting the total in games involving the Pittsburgh Penguins right now, because I do like the signs I've seen offensively, 10 goals in their last 2 games, but they can't keep the puck out of the net. It's a disaster. Look at these last 5 games. They have given up 3, 5. I'm counting it up. The last 5 games, Pittsburgh Penguins have surrendered 27 goals in the last 5 games. 27 goals in the last 5 games. That's a north of 5 goals per game average right now for the Pittsburgh Penguins. So this is over trifecta written all over it for me. Over 1.5 first period, with the Lion in net who's struggling. Both teams to score first period, over 6.5. But with all that being said, and I've talked about how Lions struggling, I am going to sprinkle on Detroit here as well because I love the momentum angle, and I still think they're better than Pittsburgh and shouldn't be, an underdog to this Penguins team right now. So I'm going to take plus 120 on Detroit, split with the team total on Detroit, and I'm laying some juice on this one. It's over 2.5 for the Red Wings team total in this game. Or you could go 3.5 at a really good plus price, but I opted to go with the 2.5. It's out there. It's minus 150. It's like I say, it's not the greatest price. You've got to lay some juice here with this, but just asking Detroit to score 3 goals against this Pittsburgh defense right now, to me, does not seem like it's asking a lot. And actually, I probably prefer the team total to the money line with Detroit. Why? Because Lyon, who the hell knows how he's going to play? And we know he hasn't been playing well lately. So I would probably say put the higher percentage of any Detroit bet. If you're going to do the team total money line split like me, put the higher percentage of the bet on the team total, because then you take Lyon and his potential struggles and his problems in net recently out of the equation. So that's the way I'm approaching it here. We're doing a money line team total split on Detroit, skewed to the team total, plus the over trifecta in this game. Terry, what do you think here, Detroit, Pittsburgh?
Yeah, I really like this game as well. Red Wings and Pittsburgh Penguins. Pittsburgh is a team that I just want to fade right now. They did put up a good effort yesterday against the Rangers. Of course, that is a divisional rival, so I'll give them that. But even with the good effort, and we saw them give good efforts in previous games at times, they're just not able to get the job done. This Red Wings team, I love their game yesterday. I was against them, but for them as a team. I love how they played yesterday. I'm not going to say Alex Lyon comes here and has a shutout or anything, but I do think he plays a much better game. I'm on the Wings as a dog here. I think they carry over momentum from yesterday's game. This Pittsburgh Penguins team, honestly, there's some players on this team I feel are getting their golf clubs ready. And I think they are thinking towards
Oh,
the
yeah.
summertime. Some of these players I don't think give two shits about this game. Maybe they did against the Rangers, a divisional opponent, but I don't think so here. So I love Detroit to battle here and get the win. And then Lucas Raymond, anytime goal, plus 260. Back-to-back games with a goal. He's heating up right now. So I'll take him here. 3 games in a row with a goal. He's heating up. Shane Gostisbehere's got a point in 10 of his last 12 games. I didn't see his point prop available. But if you can get that, 10 of 12 games is a great streak. And then, of course, he's playing the Pittsburgh Penguins. And as Ian said, they are giving up goals. So Red Wings money line, Lucas Raymond, anytime goal for me in this one.
Yeah, and this is an angle I've bet for years in the NHL. Teams on a long losing streak, they can't buy a win, and they finally get on the scoreboard, get in the win column. And sometimes that can just propel a team, and the momentum carries over. And now if you're Detroit after that win yesterday, you're taking the ice today with Pittsburgh. You got a little bigger smile on your face. You've got a little bit more pep on your step. There's a little more joking and camaraderie with your teammates now, instead of the woe is us, type of mentality and mood in the dressing room when you're mired in a losing streak like that and nothing's going right. It just makes all the world a difference when a team gets out of a funk like that. And often it carries over, and you snap a long losing streak with a win, and it builds into 2 wins in a row and 3 wins in a row, and you start to get on a streak in the other direction. So I definitely think that could be the case here for Detroit. Now, again, the fact of taking Detroit with Alex Lyon in net is not very appealing to me, and it's not without the realm of possibility Pittsburgh wins this game. But that's exactly why I said what I said earlier. Over trifecta I really like, and with the Detroit angle for me, I'm going to be on the money line, but I'm putting a higher percentage on the team total, which takes Lions' performance out of the equation here in this game. What do you think, C-Mac, Red Wings, Penguins?
Yeah, the Red Wings got to be feeling really good. Like you talking about pep in the step. I mean, this team hadn't won since last month. I mean, February 28th or 29th. It has been real ugly. So they definitely have to be feeling better. It depends. Dumpster fire. You guys were hitting on it, Terry. This team's, the golf clubs are clean. Tee time set. Fucking outfits put out for these fucking guys. I think they are done. So I think you got to take a piece of the Red Wings here. I think we're just going off the full season here with the Pens. But when I think of these two teams, especially the last couple of years, there's just a ton of shots on goal and a ton of fucking goals. Some of these scores are just like, it seems 6-3, 5-4. So I had to have a piece of this over here too, 6.5.
It's definitely to me, it seems like a clear as day over type of game. And plus, you're right. I didn't mention the head-to-head. Thank you for mentioning it, C-Mac. 5-1 to the over the last 6 meetings. 11-2, 7-2, 5-4, 7-4, 6-3. The one under was barely, and it was a 5-1 game. And it was a barely by the skin of your teeth under. The only under between these two teams in the last 6 head-to-head meetings. So, like I said, it would be pretty shocking if this is a 2-1, 3-2 type of game tonight with the Red Wings and the Penguins. And I know this has been a Detroit team that offensively has sputtered a bit since Larkin's been out, but tell you what, I think Pittsburgh's defense is sputtering even more, and a perfect tonic for the Red Wings to get a little.
You know what's big here too, Venom? Shout out to our guy, Real Deal Prime. He says Pens like great effort incoming. I get that, and that could happen. But we're gambling here. The line's they're favorites. It's like, how can you back that? Yeah. We're betting prices, so I could see that happening. It's just, I can't do it. But shout out to my guy.
I mean, they've had their bad run, Detroit, but let me repeat this too, because I know I mentioned this yesterday, and that's what concerned me a bit. With the losses that Detroit's had, Islanders, Florida, Colorado, Vegas, Buffalo playing better. Okay, there were a couple of Arizona losses in there. Those aren't good. But a lot of those losses were really good competition for Detroit during the losing streak. They went down the gauntlet of pretty good teams for the most part during that losing streak. So that's why, to me, getting a plus 120 when they've had the season they've had and Pittsburgh's had the season they've had, to me, makes it a clear choice what side I want at this price. All right, next up, we've got the Sunday finale here on this Sunday slate. As we continue along here, it is the Anaheim Ducks taking on the St. Louis Blues. We've got St. Louis minus 220 home favorites. The total right now 6, pretty much across the board in this game. I think when you look at this matchup here with these two teams, you've got obviously the Blues, a big win for them last night against Minnesota. You have an Anaheim team that just got absolutely bombed in Winnipeg on Friday night. So it is a rest advantage for Anaheim. But again, this is back-to-back for St. Louis without travel. This is a second straight home game for them. And St. Louis has beaten Anaheim 3 straight times going into this matchup. Anaheim's lost 5 in a row. Shut out, by the way, in back-to-back games. So the offense has completely gone stagnant, missing in action right now. The Anaheim Ducks offensively entering this game tonight against the St. Louis Blues. Now, Jordan Binnington started last night against the Minnesota Wild. That would lead you to believe that we're going to see probably Joel Hofer in net here tonight for the St. Louis Blues in this one on the back-to-back. This is going to be my pass. I really don't have much here. I really don't. I don't want to take St. Louis at this price, minus 220. I think we're going to see Lukas Dostal for the Anaheim Ducks in this game. Yes, we are. He hasn't been nearly as good the last couple starts, but if you go back further and look back at the last month, Dostal's had a pretty good month. He's given this team a lot of chances to win. So this may be and you got an Anaheim team that really got thrashed against Winnipeg. So if there's any pride whatsoever, they battle back strong here in this game tonight. I might grab Anaheim first period. That does appeal to me, believe it or not, a little bit. Maybe in the first period, St. Louis, huge win against Minnesota yesterday, a little sleepy early. Dostal is, right now, he's the better goalie than John Gibson. I don't care about seniority. I don't care about experience, number of games that played, any of that. Right now, Dostal has played better than John Gibson in recent games. So maybe a little sneaky little Anaheim first period money line. I don't trust them to win in 60 minutes, though, for the full game. But I'm just saying early in this game, maybe St. Louis is a little, not at their best, not at their, early in the game after the win yesterday. You are getting Anaheim off an embarrassment against Winnipeg. They've been shut out in back-to-back games. The problem is you got to trust them to score if you're going to take that first period money line with Anaheim. Yeah. And they have been shut out in back-to-back games. So this is a pass for me. I'd actually honestly lean under, because Dostal's been the better goalie with Anaheim. And the question is Hofer. Hofer's had some good outings, some bad outings. It's been a total mixed bag all season from him. They like the kid. They think he can be a full-time NHL goalie, but a lot of inconsistency in this game. His numbers are getting a little bit better, though. 1 goal allowed against Boston. He played very well in his last start against the Bruins. One goal allowed against 37. Faced 37 Boston shots, only gave up the 1 goal, so a step in the right direction. And early in the season, his numbers were above 3 goals against average and around 900 his save percentage. They've improved. He's got a 2.79 goals against, 913 save percentage currently. So probably would lean under. Toropchenko got a look in that direction as far as goal props. Yes, for St. Louis. Worth a look. He's not going to score every game, but if you're going to bet him every game and he's going to still produce at this kind of clip, plus 550 on him to score is definitely worth a look. What do you think here in this one, Terry? Anaheim, St. Louis.
Yeah, this one is interesting. With the Blues, they've dominated the Ducks. The last 5 meetings, all by multiple goals. The games were not close. The Blues have had success against the Ducks. The Ducks have looked awful in their last 5 games. But as you said, Dostal, Minnesota beat Anaheim 2-0. But if John Gibson was in net, that's a 7-0 win for the Wild. Dostal was fantastic against the Wild. He's just not getting any support from his teammates. So the way I look at this game, Blues on the back-to-back, yes, they've dominated the Ducks. But the way Dostal has been playing, and obviously I watched the entire game, his last game against the Wild. I believe that was his last game. and he was absolutely lights out. So I don't want to fade him here. This seems like a letdown spot for the Blues, but the Blues own the Ducks, so this game is ultimately a pass as well. It's just tough for me to get to anything here. And then player props. For me, I'm a streaks guy, so I like guys on streaks. And right now, neither team has anyone that is on really any kind of streak. So this game is just another pass for me, unfortunately.
I'll tell you, there's someone that might be about to start a streak again. You're right. Dave mentions him in the chat. Won't you be my neighbor, Jake Neighbors, for the St. Louis Blues? He's got a goal and an assist the last 2 games, scored the last game. He can be streaky, and he's a good player. He went through a little bit of a slump, and sometimes you finally see the goal go in, and it can get you going, and the floodgates open. So, maybe a Jake Neighbors goal prop might be worth a look here tonight in this game for sure, given that, that we see that all the time in the NHL. Guy goes through a goal-scoring drought slump, scores a goal in the last game, and it opens up the floodgates. They get their confidence back, and they start to pot them once again and get on a bit of a heater again, scoring goals. What do you think here, C-Mac, Anaheim, St. Louis?
Yeah, we see that a ton NHL. Even Shin, I think he hadn't had a goal in a long time. He had one yesterday, finally. All right, Blues. I love this team. I love this team at home. We're already talking about it. Get the win again yesterday. Now they're a huge price, but I haven't bet this because it is sneaky with the Ducks. But I would take the Blues puck line here. It's right around plus 120. I know it's on the back-to-back. They're healthy. This team is not dealing with anything. They play their best hockey at home. So I think they could get the job done here. I haven't bet it, so I'm not going to tell you that I did, but I haven't. So this is one, I don't know. Maybe I wait on here. So as of now, I'm off. And Hofer, I think he's had some bad games you were mentioning, but I think he's been pretty solid all year.
Yes. No, I agree with that. He's been better. Yeah, there's no question. He's been better here for this team, no doubt about that. And speaking of better, holy shit, we've got this this Brown Bears team in the Ivy League championship game is now up 2 on Yale with 8 minutes to go. Wow. Given Yale, and that's what I was hoping for, giving them everything they can handle. It's been a great basketball game. Absolutely, this Ivy League title game. It's been great. I'd love to see it because I got a little Brown future to win the conference, and we've got Brown plus the points yesterday against Princeton, and Brown plus the points again today against Yale. So what a job by that team. That's crazy. All these teams that go on crazy runs here in March and just they get red hot and they stun the world. Nobody thought Temple was going to be in the AAC championship game today either. So crazy stuff. But yeah, Brown rocking and rolling here. A great atmosphere there. Ivy League championship. Chance to go to the NCAA tournament, whoever wins that game. All right, great stuff. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Hit the like button. We appreciate it very much. Looking forward to a big Sunday in the NHL. Of course, there's lots of NCAA tournament stuff going on, and of course, Selection Sunday. So the field for the NCAA tournament will be announced tonight. We'll be able to finally see all the matchups, start to break those down prior to Thursday when the tournament gets underway. Although I should say Tuesday, Wednesday, they have the first 4 as well. But it always feels like the tournament actually gets underway on Thursday when it feels like for real it's starting, when you've got that noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific games, and you go all day, all night with the tournament action. But we're looking forward to the hockey action here today. On this Sunday. And a reminder, if you're a Patreon member, you get our daily sides, totals, and player props each and every day posted on the page, goalie charts, totals charts. Unfortunately, because of Alex's family emergency, we have to postpone the scheduled Q&A video that we were going to do tomorrow. We were going to do the live Q&A at 2 p.m. Eastern. Alex will not be on the show tomorrow, and he's day-to-day for the rest of the week. So there will be no live Q&A. We'll do it at another date. We were going to have it tomorrow. So the daily show will be back to its normal time tomorrow, 2 p.m. Eastern. Okay, so the Ice Guys show, the daily show right here on YouTube will be 2 p.m. Eastern, back to the normal time tomorrow. That's when we'll be on, and we'll do the Q&A at another time. But we will do it. We absolutely are. It's just, unfortunately, we had to push it back for Alex's sake. Patreon.com/IceGuys. Again, $10 per month. Make sure you sign up and subscribe. We've got many more Patreon exclusive live betcasts coming your way. as well. So make sure you check that out. Patreon.com/IceGuys. Sign up, just $10 per month. And again, our next live betcast will be Tuesday, March 26th. So that's not this Tuesday, but next Tuesday, March 26th, 7 p.m. Eastern. This is open to everybody, free for all, public betcast. Everyone's invited. CMAC might show up for it, I believe. Next, Are you going to be around next Tuesday, CMAC?
Yeah, I should be around Tuesday.
It's a good card. Very good games on that Tuesday, March 26th slate. That's why we picked it. We also picked it because we didn't want to go head-to-head with the tournament. We're staying away from the NCAA tournament. No betcasts when that's going on. So Tuesday, March 26th, 7 p.m. Eastern. DM or email me or Alex for a spot on the betcast, and we will send you the link for the betcast before it begins. Live betting, commentary, throw back some beers, throw back some shots of whiskey, whatever you want. It's a bar and pub atmosphere with every live betcast. So make sure you join us Tuesday, March 26th, 7 p.m. Eastern time for our next Ice Guys live betcast. And last but not least, check out the Ice Guys store. Get your gear and your merch over at iceguys.myspreadshop.com. All right, we are back with Bargain Bin Special of the night and best bets coming right up, right after we hear from our great sponsors of the Ice Guys show, Boston Hemp Inc. All right, Boston Hemp Inc. Make sure you check them out. And again, you can get 20% off all orders on the website by using the promo code IceGuys over at bostonhempinc.com. All right, it is time for Bargain Bin Special of the night. It has been a great season with these. And like I say, it's been one of the great additions to the show. And beyond our wildest dreams, what we've gotten out of this segment from a results and a profit standpoint. Terry, we will start with you. What do you like in the bargain bin today?
Yeah, there's no players that I like to no big plus money players I like to score. My favorite one is Raymond anytime goal, but that's plus 260. So I'm going to parlay Lucas Raymond anytime goal with Josh Morrissey over half an assist, which is plus 505. My two favorite props on the board. So I'll parlay Lucas Raymond goal for Detroit, Josh Morrissey assist for Winnipeg plus 505.
There you go. Lucas Raymond goal Detroit, Josh Morrissey assist Winnipeg plus 505 for Terry Edelman with his bargain bin special of the night. And as I send it to CMAC for his bargain bin special, this reminds me of the old days at Pub Sports Radio, the Jack of the Day on the baseball shows with Connor Mack and I, where we're ripping off these plus 400, plus 450 home run props, some even plus 600 in some cases. Reminds me of that. The same kind of value with that segment that we try to give you with this one. CMAC, what do you think here? Bargain bin special, you got one? You're muted, or your mic went off. There we go.
Sorry, muted. Someone put Donato. I don't mind that in the chat. I glanced at that, but come on, I'm on the over in this game, and I think there's goals. He hasn't had one in a couple. JT Comfer here plus 315, I believe.
There it is. Yep.
I think he gets one today. So if you can find a better number, that's what I have, 315. But JT, give me a goal.
All right, good stuff. Straight out of Comfer. Crazy motherfucker.
Straight out of Comfer.
There we go. JT Comfer for the Detroit Red Wings. Plus 315 for Connor Mack with his bargain bin special of the night. if we can get fucking BetStamp to open here, we'd be able to give you a bargain bin special here in just a moment. Let me just make sure we can get this. I've crashed on me, and I need this to be able to get out all the odds here that we're seeing right now. Okay, let me just see here. All right, there we go. Thankfully, it's back up and running. All right, bargain bin special of the night. There's some pretty interesting choices here in this slate today. When you look at it, when I think bargain bin here, there's definitely, I think Nylander sees beyond the threshold now. See, they've adjusted that. Actually, no, they have not. They have not adjusted it. They have not. FanDuel's got plus 340 on the. That's who I was hoping for. I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to be able to use Alex Nylander for bargain bin special of the night because the price ain't going to be good enough. But it is. It's plus 340. That's what we'll go with. Alex Nylander, Columbus Blue Jackets, plus 340 for my bargain bin special of the night. All right, best bets to wrap it up for this Sunday edition of the Ice Guys Show. Terry, what do you like for best bet?
Yeah, cashed it yesterday with the Preds. Back them because they've been so consistent. And today I'm going to go the other side. I'm going to choose my best bet. I'm going to fade the Pittsburgh Penguins. Give me the Detroit Red Wings plus 120. I like them to get the win here today.
All right, Detroit Red Wings plus 120 against the Pittsburgh Penguins. Best bet for Terry Edelman. C-Mac, what do you like for best bet?
I was going to go somewhere else, but I got to take this. Red Wings, Pens, over 6.5. Goals. That's it.
There you go. Red Wings, Penguins over 6.5 for Connor Mack with his best bet for this Sunday NHL card. My best bet for this slate, there's a lot of good choices here in this one. Let's go with, and look, there's 5.5s out there with this total. Two bad teams. Who the hell wants to play defense? Who the hell wants to block a shot? Who the hell would want to do that when you're not even close to making the playoffs? You're two of the worst teams in the NHL. Devin Cooley's AHL numbers are ghastly. They don't stimulate confidence out of me in this game tonight. I think Chicago responds offensively, but I think San Jose can chip in a little bit too. They have scored some goals here the last few games here during this road trip. Total's only 5.5, easily eclipsable in my opinion. San Jose, Chicago, over 5.5, minus 128 for my best bet here for this Sunday NHL card. That'll wrap up this edition of the Ice Guys. Thanks to everyone for joining us on this St. Patrick's Day. Now it's time to get to drinking for the rest of the day. Hit the like button. We appreciate it very much. A reminder, the Ice Guys live 7 days a week, Monday to Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern, Saturday and Sunday, noon Eastern. If you can't watch the show live, download the Ice Guys podcast in audio form on all major podcast platforms, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and more. Download the Ice Guys podcast if you can't watch the show live. Yeah, Nick, definitely. If you can only find 6 with the San Jose Chicago total, I'd still say bet it. It's worthy. Because again, even if it lands on 6, you're not going to lose. It's only going to be a push. So it would be a bigger deal if it was going from 6 to 6.5, or it could be a loss instead of a push. So 5.5 to 6. If all you can find is 6 with that total, I still like it for San Jose, Chicago over. Great stuff. Again, make sure you hit the like button. And again, make sure that you subscribe to the channel. We've got still over almost a quarter of our viewing audience on a daily basis that isn't subscribed to the channel. Make sure you change that. Hit the subscribe button. Doesn't cost you anything. And make sure you're with us each and every day. For Terry Edelman and Connor Mack, I'm Ian Cameron. Have a great Sunday. Enjoy the games and good luck. And we will talk to you again tomorrow on Monday for another edition of the Ice Guys.